Welcome to the Barbarian Starter Build Guide for Diablo 3, Patch 268 and Season 20. These are 0 to hero survival guides where we take you from 0 to hero, I guess. I got chat with me. I got chat on top of the screen. We're going to start off with the Challenge Rift cache like we do every single season. This whole video is based on keeping your Challenge Rift cache. We don't know when the season is going to start as of right now. The season should start on, here's March, right? The season should start on the 13th. It's possible that they announce it for the 6th. Whenever they announce it, don't do your Challenge Rift that week. So don't do it on the 2nd or the 9th, depending on when the season starts, right? We're gonna open up our Challenge Rift bag. I actually might have a link for it. Let's see. If you save your Challenge Rift bag for the week and make a seasonal character, then do your Challenge Rift. You can claim this during this season. That's why you don't want to do your Challenge Rift. You can pick up some DBs, which you can cube things. With a seasonal theme, you can cube any power in any slot without any restrictions. So if you get like multiple weapons, you can go like weapon, 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 or any variation of the type. And then you don't have to do early bounties if you don't want to. And it's just nice to have the gold. You can unlock all your professions from the start. It's a really powerful tool. So now that you have your Challenge Rift cache, the first thing you're gonna do is make your character log in, you know, all that stuff. We're gonna roll for Bludd Shards right away. So we're gonna cover the options here. For level 1 Barbarian, you definitely want to roll your Bludd Shards. It limits the item pool severely. So like if you have your rings here, you can see you have a bunch of rings, right? But if you roll them immediately at level 1, there's only 2 possible outcomes. You have the Bandamite and Leoric Signet. Bandamite's great, and I'd recommend this once you get a multiplier. Once you get your 6-piece set, you get 50% damage reduction from IK because you can use the Ancient's Fury rune together as one. So you get like a 50% damage reduction built into the IK set. So it's not as necessary this time around, but eventually you're gonna need it, right? And you can always go back and make a level 1 character and then roll your Bludd Shards on it. So I would not do the ring first. I would go for a multiplier bracers until you have 2 possible outcomes. You can get the Bracers of Destruction for Seismic Slam, or you can get Hammer of the Ancients for Hoda. I would roll slowly, very slowly. As soon as you get one of them, then I would go for belts, mighty belts, right? There's like 5 belts you can get, so it's a lot of RNG. So roll bracers till you get one. No matter which one you get, doesn't matter. And then go for belts. You can get the Undisputed Champion. It is a, whoops. They buffed it this patch. This is a new item for the patch. You can get up to 300 to 400% increased damage. You could also put it in the cube and get the full value, technically. It's basically a 400% multiplier for Frenzy, which is really powerful. The only problem is a 1 in 5 chance you can get it. So we'll take the rings away, we'll take the bracers away. So if you just roll for belts, you might not get it. But if you roll for bracers, there's a really high chance you'll get at least something. So you have some juice while you're leveling, right? You have some destructive power. Someone said loot socks no longer meta for early game. I don't think loot socks have ever been meta for early game. If you get your belt, great. Make sure you use Frenzy. If you don't, it's not a big deal. Maybe you'll get it while you're leveling. And then again, I would go back, make a level 1 alternate Barb and roll rings to get that Bandamite is super powerful. You can even roll for belts, and if you don't have your Undisputed Champion later, and you're trying to play Frenzy early, that's what I'll do. I'm probably gonna main Frenzy next season. Does Frenzy Belt work even if you don't have all the runes opened up? I don't know. Should we test it? Do I have room? We would have saw one of the cold runes. Oh, it does work! Yeah, it does work. So even if you don't have all the runes unlocked, Frenzy still gives you the effects of every rune, which is interesting. Right now we're level like 12 and we're getting the effects of Sidearm at level 17. That's interesting. That makes the belt really powerful if you do get it, because that's like a 300% multiplier flinging out. Like this is currently non-season, so we don't have the Undisputed Champion, but it's gonna have a 400% multiplier in season 20. Very nice, good to know, good question. For leveling abilities, you wanna build off of whatever bracer you get. So if you get the Hoda bracers, you'd go Hoda Rolling Thunder because it turns the small AoE into a huge 22-yard AoE. And if you get the Seismic Slam bracers, you'd go with Seismic Slam Stagger since it already has a 50-yard AoE. So now you want to reduce the resource on it, right? You're always going to be out of resource leveling. You don't have an actual build, so that's what you would do. If you don't get any bracer or you hate them, you can go Whirlwind. Whirlwind is only 10 Fury, where these are 30 and 20. And it's really good resource value. I would definitely go like Weapons Master if you have Mighty Weapons and get 2 Fury per hit. And then eventually you'll get Wind Shear. Wind Shear is really good, but this is not till later on. So those are all 3 good viable leveling spells. Rend is also really good all the way up until like T7. After T7, it starts to get outscaled unless you have like an Ambos or something to multiply the Rend damage. So as you're leveling and you hit level 40, what you want to do is make a level 70 two-hander. You want to look for a crowd control as a secondary. You can see we have fear on hit. And ideally you would get life per hit on your weapon. That way you can't roll as a secondary effect. I'll show you. You know, because we saved our challenge rift bag, we were able to upgrade the blacksmith all the way to level 70. We can actually make level 70 items. And if you get life on hit, there's only 3 possible outcomes. It's kind of hard to get life on hit. I'll do another one just to showcase. It's not like hard, it's random, right? So let's make a 2-handed mace. I like maces for barbs. There's less things to muddle up the... Like if you get a mighty weapon, then the mighty weapon is on the table and it lowers your chance of getting something useful. So here's a 2-hander. It has a crowd control as a secondary. It doesn't have life on hit. So you're gonna leave on the crowd control because there's so many crowd controls here that you could get. So we're just gonna leave it and we're gonna take off the other one. So if you click on it, it shows you, right? What we're going for is reduce level requirement right here. So if I reroll this, I have to get 1 in all these. But if I reroll this one, it's 1 in 4. So we'll do that. And we'll try to get lucky. I mean, this is the gambling method. I've gotten 30 before, so here's 16. So you can equip a level 70 item at level 54, which is way earlier than you would have otherwise. And it takes like 2 minutes to go to town, make one, re-roll it, and put it in the bank, right? Make sure you put it in the bank and don't salvage it. If you want to do the Hope of Cain, you can. It costs 25 DBs to upgrade. You can do it. Let me bring up the Blood Shard calculator. Do you get souls in the bag now? You don't get souls, but by the time you get to 40, you should have a few legendaries you can burn. If you do your Hope of Cain upgrade, you can go for mighty weapons or 2-handed mighty weapons. I'd go for 2-handers, it just seems safer. It's totally up to you. You need stuff in the mighty weapon and you need stuff in the 2-handed mighty weapon. But I would definitely go for 2-handers. I'd probably try to get the Bastions Revered for Frenzy, but there's also a Frenzy item up here. If you're playing Whirlwind, then maybe you go for the 1-handed mighty for Ambos and the BK weapons and stuff like that. I just feel like it's more consistent. Like you get lots of multipliers down here. There's definitely a higher chance to get something usable in the 2-handed mighties than the 1-hander, but everything is pretty much usable at some point. I mean, this Mad weapon is pretty bad, but so is the Cleave Dishonored Legacy. So they each have bad ones and they both have good ones. Whatever you decide, you know, it's all luck based. Like if you don't get anything good, it doesn't matter. It's just a free upgrade that they gave you, the game gives you, right? It's just luck, just some fun upgrade chance. As soon as you hit 70, you're gonna put together a yellow starter build like this. You can crush T1. I'm gonna drop it to T1 to demonstrate. You should be able to crush T1. You want to be on T1 because you start getting set items. You don't want to be farming less than T1. Your yellow starter gear should have like double crit, double main stat everywhere. Like, this is a perfect starter piece. You know, this is the kind of stuff you want to look for. Even while leveling, you want to look for like the rings like this. If you have some extra gems, if you find a gem goblin, you can actually craft level 70 rings for no gold, just 2 gems. And you can craft a few and try to see if you get lucky on that. Like this has main stat and 5.5 crit. You can get a socket or you can get crit damage. Really easy to get the rings early on. And then again, if you get the goblin, it's even easier. When you hit 60, you can make a sage set as soon as you level up your blacksmith all the way to max. Everyone has access to make a sage set, and don't forget they added a belt a few seasons ago. Sage's ribbon. So this doesn't actually drop anymore, it's just unlocked with the blacksmith. So you technically could go sage set very, very early with a 2 or 4 piece IK while you're farming until you do your GR20 clear. I guess you can go sage set and use the 6 piece IK if you get a Ring of Royal Grandeur or something like that, if you're doing bounties and you happen to get it. You could always kill Malthael on any difficulty to get Reaper's Wraps to give you more resource. The first GR you complete every single season is a Bane of the Powerful, so that'll give you 20% damage, so you can just go over here and just do a T1, right, all the way down. Even a GR10 is T1, and then you can crush it. I'm gonna demonstrate the Whirlwind starter just in case you don't get anything. This is what it would look like. Nothing beneficial in the cube. That's gonna affect my testing. No Paragon, no Legendary Gems, all baseline. Like, this is just literally to simulate like a new, fresh 70 character. You just pop your cooldowns and you Whirlwind away. I would tap Rend in packs of enemies, just like we did last season with Rend Barb, right? You just kind of tap it in packs. And this is what you'll use to farm your Haedrig, essentially. Like, I still have the seasonal theme ticking away, but it's fine. It does fine damage to get you where you need to get. So you can see if you had any multiplier, you'd be extra crushing it. Pretty nice stuff. Even elites get killed pretty easily. Or if you had that Band of Might, you'd be super tanky. Well, this is with no Band of Might. Just sitting on T1. We don't want to get frozen. So something like this. And again, I would just do a level 1 GR to get my powerful, and that would increase your DPS by 20%. Not total 20, but the legendary gem is nice, you know? Even as a level 0, you're gonna get a bonus. So we didn't actually talk about the set, but as you start getting these set pieces, the 2-piece, the ancients last until they die, so we're gonna use them, right? There is 2 good runes that together is 1 rune, where 50% of all the damage is reduced. So that's like having a unity on your character, like we talked about. And the 4-piece, reduce the cooldown of Wrath the Berserker and Call the Ancients when you spend Fury. So Whirlwind is great synergy with the build. You can even use the 2-hander Whirlwind if you get it, or you can use like Mighty Weapons, it doesn't really matter. As long as you're spending Fury, you're reducing the cooldown of Wrath and Call the Ancients. So the only thing that they're giving us right now is, well, I guess we're getting Perma Wrath the Berserker, so I'll show you how strong the GR20 clear is. So you just jump in and spin to win, pop your cooldowns, charge in. You can still cast Rend, and you're still spending Fury, right? I guess the Wrath the Berserker gives us 50% damage, so you just have that up now. You can see the cooldown right there with nothing. I only have, I have literally 0% cooldown on my character because I have no Paragon, and right. So even with 0%, you can keep up Wrath pretty much full time. Like I said, it's really, it's almost like having Lon, a stronger version of Lon to start with. We talked about Bane of the Powerful being the first gem you get every season. The Lot gem is the second gem you get every season. So you could go full Lot if you wanted. But with the IK as a starter, I would advise against it, but you could do that. Frenzy's not that good with Lot either, and Whirlwind's not good with Lot, so. Other classes maybe, but not necessarily Barb. So we'll start killing these elites. I'm just kind of whirlwinding around here. Oh, this guy's almost dead. We'll work on this one. Get a few kills here. I mean, you won't have all this seasonal theme, so it's kind of hard to test it. I'll probably do the other guides on my non-season account. I just have so much materials here on my seasonal account. But you might have something in the cube that helps, since we have another seasonal theme next season. Barb's famous for having the strongest start every season. It's always up there. All 4 sets are good. They have great Bludd Shard spendage at level 1. Their Hope of Cain upgrade is great. Once you do your GR20 clear, right? You get your final 2 pieces of the set, which then gives you the 6-piece bonus. Wrath of Berserker and Call of the Ancients are active. You deal 4,000% increased damage. So we're going to be using Vulnerable Kathos to lower the cooldown of both of them, even though it's probably not really needed too much, but I just like to do it just to have some coverage. And yeah, we'll have a huge damage increase. I'm still using Ancient's Blessing for that 50% damage reduction. And you should be like in the T7 level in terms of survivability, damage. And then you would farm on T7 until you can get a full build, whether that's IK Hoda. There'll be tons of links in the description. Frenzy, Whirlwind. I'm gonna do a T7 Rift, but yeah, it depends from here where you wanna go. And you might get all the Frenzy stuff early, and then you go IK Frenzy, or Whirlwind Frenzy, or Whirlwind IK. Like, it really depends on what drops you get and what you wanna play from here. But let's take the 6-piece into like a T7 equivalent. And we still have no legendary gems, no Paragon. You'll definitely have more power than what I have currently, right? So I'm gonna pop everything and jump in. You would have legendary weapons and stuff too. I would speed farm on T7 for sure. I'll probably insert. I think I have the old video where I talk about the torment levels and everything. What you get from each. Right, just obliterating. And then we have the tankiness from Call of the Ancients, so we don't really need the Band of Might. If you had Band of Might, you'd be like invincible. You probably can go even higher to like T11 quicker, because you'd have the 50% plus the 80. And then the written guide will be all in the description, so if you don't know how to build. The only thing you maybe don't know is that the belt should have life per Fury if possible, because we're constantly spinning Fury. And you can get a yellow Mighty Belt also. So when you're level 70, look for those yellow Mighty Belts. Everything else is pretty much ready to go. Once you get your 6-piece and you're farming, like basically, like what are you gonna do with Barb this season? Well, Barb has a pretty easy this season. You know, every season they're support, so you can play Z-Barb at the highest levels of 4-man pushing. You can run speed comp still. I'm assuming like with pugs and whatever, you can do like Whirlwind Barb. He's still really strong. They didn't get nerfed at all. If anything, they're stronger than they were last season. We just lose the seasonal theme, using the geysers and all that stuff to our advantage. But yeah, you should still be able to run Barb speed comps. But rat runs are going to be running rampant across the world. So you will probably be playing Z-Barb for speed, Z-Barb for pushing. But there might be like random pugs, or if you make your own groups, you can run like 2-handed focus and restraint. I'll include all this in the description. For your solo pushing, so groups, you're going to be playing support like probably 9 times out of 10. For solo pushing, Whirlwind Barb is probably in the 140 territory solo. Like we're talking top end, like one of the best builds in the entire game. Whirlwind Barb. Frenzy is probably like in the 135, the high 130s camp, which is noticeably weaker than Whirlwind, but almost everybody's weaker than Whirlwind, so I don't think that's a negative too much. I'm probably going to be playing Frenzy as well. Frenzy's really strong. You can still play Leapquake to like the low to mid 130s. You can still play Lod Hoda, Lod Seismic Slam, or like in they're close to Frenzy in terms of power, like probably around the 135 territory. Really powerful builds. It's just Whirlwind overshadows everything slightly. For speeds, we have a Speed Frenzy build. You can play Speed Seismic Slam, but of course Whirlwind's the best for bounties and for speeds. It's just so fluid and easy to play. You can easily veg out and watch Twitch streams while you're playing, you know. I'll probably be playing Frenzy for speeds just because it's different. And, you know, I've played Whirlwind so many hours in my life already, so I'll probably play all the new stuff. I'll probably do Frenzy Push, Frenzy Solo. It'll be all solo hardcore anyway. And for bounties, maybe Whirlwind for bounties, just so I can chill out. But I will be mixing in Whirlwind and Frenzy for speeds. And then anything else we get, we farm along the way. Any questions, chat? A little Q&A? A little Barb Q&A? Garage says, will we see a 150 solo next season? I don't think so. I don't think so. Do you use Bull Kathos for maximum chill? BK weapons are the best for like bounties and T16, yeah, because it's just so much resource and movement speed. You do more utility than power. You don't need power anymore for low level. You need speed, right? And utility, things like that. Well, as of right now, we don't have the final patch notes, but even if Frenzy gets buffed more, it could be on par with Whirlwind Barb. I will put a link in the description saying in the guide or something if there's any dramatic changes. I don't think so, but there might be. I mean, it's possible it can get buffed and it can be the RGK. In the top comment of the video and in the description, I'll change it. Do you really need Slender Little Rogue for the highest tier pushes for Barb, or is BK weapons fine? Slender Little Rogue are better. So when you're competing at the highest level, that little bit of an edge is going to push people ahead of other people almost every single time. Obviously, fishing and all that stuff and good gameplay matters, but yeah, it's better than BK weapons. You really don't want to push with BK. They don't give you anything. You don't need the resource. You don't need the movement speed. It's just like two dead weapons that you're carrying, if you think about it. Like you're pushing with something that gives you resource you don't need. It gives you movement speed you don't need when you're pushing. So there's just both dead items, essentially. You might as well use Sunkeeper for elite damage, or literally anything else is better. I think Frenzy's in a good spot. I don't think it's underperforming. It's in line with the other Barb sets besides Whirlwind. The only way they can get out of this situation is to nerf Whirlwind, which last time they did, people went ballistic. So I think that they're in a situation where they're like, damn, we have to buff every other Barb build. All my builds are on my build page, free for everybody. Type !build in chat. If you're watching this on YouTube, it is in the description. It's patreon.com/bloodshed. I have a whole library of builds free for everybody to choose from. If you want to know what I think about any build, it's there. Like, it's literally there in a written guide. Yeah, shout out to all the Twitch subs that make these videos possible. Everyone on YouTube that shares and likes my videos, the comments. People that take the time to go on Diablo fans and like the guide that, you know, if the guide worked for you and you like it, I appreciate that too. I hope you guys like the live version of the video guide, which I just started doing now. It's actually going to be a pain to edit because when I'm offline, I just, you know, I'm more focused, I guess. But it might be cooler. I figure we have a community here that we talk to. You know, we have a whole legion of Diablo fans. There's like over 400 people here today. And it makes the guides maybe more unique. Like we learned about the frenzy question and things like that. So I'll be filming these for the first 3 hours every day until they're all done. And then we'll do the tier list together. 420, 420 in chat, blaze it. And then we'll do the tier list at the end of all the starter guides. Tomorrow will be Wizard, I think. And then Witch Doctor on Wednesday. Witch Doctor Wednesdays, something like that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Bloodshed. And I'm out of here. Peace.